Hey everyone, I'm your host Ronin, back with another video. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Yes, we're going to talk about the A2, the upcoming set, unannounced, unreleased. We are going to speculate. The only official thing that we have right now is a release date that, is it official? I don't know. Unannounced officially, but that's funny how that works. Anyway, what is it? The website Pokemon Zone released the date of when we will be getting the next set, A2. Not a mini set, a full set like we have with Genetic Apex. They said the date would be January 29th, 2025. So I just want to talk about like what could happen. What are the possibilities? And first off, I thought I needed to come up with, okay, what could the name of the set be? I was thinking based off of like what we have already, we have Genetic Apex, we have Mythical Island. I looked at the normal TCG card sets and like what their names were, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna come up with my own. So what I have is Journey Beyond. That was the first one I came up with. And then there was Solar Tide that I put in the thumbnail, which I think is really cool, right? So there's, yeah, Journey Beyond, Solar Tide. I saw what Golden Sands was like one of them. And then another idea was like Sunken Sun, which I thought was pretty cool. Anyway, the idea that I'm going with is based off of the possibility of the majority amount of the cards being based on Johto Pokemon, Generation 2 Pokemon. So Pokemon like Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Totodile, their evolutions. We got Ho-Oh in there. We got Lugia. We got Suicune, Entei, Raikou. Dude, there are so many sick Pokemon from Johto that I really don't know exactly like how to even like make this work, because I would want to make every single one of these Pokemon EX Pokemon cards. like every single one of them, right? But I have to like limit myself, right? So those were the names I came up with, basing this off of we're going to Johto in this A2 set, right? I think we'll have another 3 packs to open. However, I think those 3-pack arts and the main cards are going to be different than what most of us think, right? So what we had before was we had a Mewtwo, we had Charizard, and we had a Pikachu. Those aren't like the trio. That's not like some original trio like Moltres, Zapdos, Articuno trio. Nothing like that, right? I don't think the set cards are going to be Entei, Raikou, Suicune. I think what I decided this was going to be was Scizor, Tyranitar, and Umbreon. Right. I think that is what we are going to be seeing for pack, like the main art, the pack cards, the show, the pull cards that you want, the main cards that are going to be good in the set, right? Honestly, just based off of like the pack that you get, whether it's Mewtwo, Charizard, Pikachu, those 3 decks are like the main decks in the game, and it feels like there's no way around them. Mewtwo, Pikachu have just been completely dominating, and Charizard is still super strong, right? So this is what I think, is that Scizor is going to be super strong. Tyranitar and Umbreon is going, those decks, whatever they may be, are going to be absolutely fantastic. I want to talk about like the set cards and the number of cards that are going to be in this deck. I believe that we had 260, was it 268 or something? Yeah, is something like that. If I'm wrong, like correct me, right? It's fine. Anyway, there's like over 250, below 300 cards in Genetic Apex. This is the numbers that I broke it down to. I came up with anywhere from 150 cards to 250 cards, right? But then I was like, okay, it's gonna be somewhere around that range. And the reason I think that is because overall, there were only 100 new released Pokemon for Generation 2. There were 151 for Gen 1, right? We know that. But there was only 100, right? So automatically we're bringing down the amount of cards if we're solely focusing on Johto, right? So I think that we have 100 cards there's one for each new Pokemon, and then we're gonna have 12 EX Pokemon. I kind of try to use percentages for this based off of Genetic Apex and what we got with Genetic Apex. So from the numbers, I just try to get percentages. I think there's going to be 100 base Pokemon. On top of that, there's going to be 12 of those 100 Pokemon that will be EX cards. Then we'll have the 8 trainers, the gym leaders, right? There's also, which people might not be thinking about, there's 28 unknown cards. There are 28 unknown Pokemon. Unknown as in the Pokemon unknown, not unknown like we don't know. There are 28 total unknown Pokemon. And I think each one of those will also be getting an individual card. Of course, right? Like you can't just, you have to collect all the unknown. Duh, like that's a mission, right? That's something you have to do. Anyway, so 28 unknown. Then there's going to be, based on percentages, there's 26 extra cards. So I believe from Genetic Apex, there were like 40, maybe 50 extra cards that weren't part of the Kanto region. They were outside of the Kanto region. Just based off percentages that I got, there's going to be maybe around 26 cards, extra cards that aren't from Johto. So then adding those up, we've got a 174 card set. That's my like base set. But then on top of that, we've got all the illustrations and arts, right? Then I decided to go with, I think there's going to be like 16 illustration cards, 12 full art cards. There's going to be probably 3-star illustration, 3 crown rares, 1 to 3 shiny rares. That's the new, what we believe to be the new card rarity. There's that new symbol that it's some type of new card, right? We don't know exactly what it is. It could be like the shiny variant of a card. I think it could possibly be that like a shiny variant. I think it's still going to be really rare, and that's why I think it's not going to be for the crown rares, but for the featured cards. Well, so let's backtrack, right? We've got, this is my idea, right? Scizor, Tyranitar, Umbreon. I think they will be getting crown rares, just like Genetic Apex. The 3 main cards got crown rares, the golden cards. And then I think on top of that, there will also be shiny variants of those cards. Scizor, Tyranitar, Umbreon could be getting shiny variants with that new symbol, whatever it is. Hopefully shiny. I would love to see shiny Scizor, Umbreon. Tyranitar is, yeah, he's all right. But like Umbreon is like literally one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite. Okay. Umbreon's like one of my favorite Pokemon, if you didn't catch that. Okay, so with those numbers, that's going to add us up to about 213 total cards. And then I was also thinking, okay, if it's not 213, there might also be reprints of some older cards from Genetic Apex or from Mythical Island that they would reprint due to new evolutions coming in, like Kingdra. We'll have to have a Horsey, a Seadra into a Kingdra. Maybe Scyther will get a new card to evolve into the Scizor. Clearly there was probably gonna be another EV card. We've gotten like 50 EV cards, but hey, it is what it is, right? Eevee's a cute Pokemon. Moving on, I think the main types that we're going to be seeing are Steel, Dark, and Fighting. I think that's going to be the main focus of this new set. And that's solely based on the fact that Steel, Dark, Fighting have gotten like the short end of the stick. Also Dragon, but at the moment I don't think you can really emphasize Dragon as much with Johto cards. But anyway, Steel, Dark, Fighting. I think these are going to be the meta. We're going to be countering definitely going to counter Pikachu's with the fighting type, and then we're going to counter Mewtwo's with the dark type. I think there's going to be a disruption, complete disruption of the current meta. We're going to just be wrecking the Mewtwo's and Pikachu's with these new cards for specific EX cards, right? I listed that we would maybe have like 12 EX cards, and it's very hard to choose because if you look at the Johto Pokemon, there are so many like one-off Pokemon and like individual Pokemon or new Pokemon that got evolutions that are like, oh my gosh, that would be so sick if it got an EX card, right? But I had to list 12. I had to condense it down to 12. And I also thought to myself, okay, we'll probably get a mini set just like Mythical Island. And so like I was thinking, what would that mini set look like? What if the mini set was focused on the legendary Pokemon like Suicune, Entei, Raikou? What if the mini set was focused on those and that's where they got their EX cards? So I was like, I gotta cut those out. Let's see what we're working with, right? So obviously we've got Scizor, Tyranitar, Umbreon, the three main cards of what potentially is, of course, all speculation, A2. Steelix, Kingdra, Heracross, what else? Espeon. I think Ho-Oh Lugia will also be getting EX cards. Then Typhlosion, Meganium, Feraligatr, Ampharos, and Blissey. Then we talked about the unknown cards. That there's 28 official unknown Pokemon. You're gonna have to get all of those cards, right? And there's probably going to be a secret mission if you collect all 28 unknown. And what you'll get for that, it would be cool if there was a new card that you got. I would love to see that. Some like illustration, like the Mew card. That would be cool. However, I think that what we'll probably get is like a badge or something, so like an unknown badge or something, like an icon or something to put on your profile, just to flex it. But that's probably all it's going to be. I want to talk about the meta. I want to talk about the meta a little bit and how I think things are going to change. I think the Steel Dark fighting is going to be our main meta. And I think with Steel, let's talk about Steel. We're going to see Steelix, we're going to see Scizor for sure be the strong Steel types in this deck, or in this new set. I think Steelix is going to be, potentially, could be a dual color deck, as in could be fighting and it could be Steel. Steelix is going to be a tank, just a tank. It might be, I don't know. It's obviously going to have big health. It might take 4 energy to build up the attack. Who knows? I'm unsure. But let's see. The current Onyx, I believe, takes 3 energy to attack. It costs a lot. It's got high health though. It's got high health. So I can imagine the Steelix having somewhere close to like 180, maybe 200 health. Who knows? But then Scizor, I think, is going to be a pure Steel type deck focused on it. I think Scizor might be similar to Starmie, and I think it's going to have a 0 retreat cost with a 2 cost energy attack to hit for 90, or it might be a 2 cost where you flip a coin and do extra damage. Not like Celebi, but probably plus like the Executor EX. You'll probably just add damage to it, so there'll be like a base amount. It could be something like that, but I think it'll be similar to Starmie, where it's going to be kind of this faster deck that you want to play. Moving on to dark types though, I think dark types is going to continue on with the utility, the disruption type of decks. Something, I don't know, Umbreon's going to have some type of utility. I think it will also have a lower retreat cost. It's going to do decent damage, probably similar to Starmie as well. It will counter Mewtwo. It will be dark type. It will counter Mewtwo. And then it'll probably get set up before most strong cards. So it might have like a 2, maybe 3 energy attack, and then some type of utility added to it. I think we'll see a surge in dark type decks. Then let's talk about Tyranitar. I think Tyranitar is going to be an absolute tank. I think it's going to be very similar to Venusaur and Charizard. I think Tyranitar is going to have 2 attacks, one that will cost 2 energy, one that will cost 4 energy. It will be very similar. Obviously not like Venusaur, where Venusaur is able to heal. It will probably be more like Charizard, where it's doing damage, right? But it's definitely going to be a fighting type. It's going to have big health, maybe 180, potentially 200 if there's this creep, like power creep in the game. Obviously that's going to end up happening. It just happens in card games. But yeah, I think it's going to have 2 moves, and it's going to be able to counter Pikachu because of that. Because of the first move that costs less energy, that's doing less damage. I think what that's going to allow it to do is to protect itself from the Pikachu, double tapping it 2 turns and the Tyranitar is gone, right? I think you'll be able to hit and threaten the Pikachu before the Tyranitar is like close to dying, like close to getting knocked out, right? It might have an ability. I heard like Sandstorm ability. That would be crazy if it was passively doing damage to benched Pokemon. That also might be a worry if it's across all Pokemon active and benched, including your own. So you'd have to run it like a solo color deck. Tyranitar is going to be, I think it'll be really fun to play. We'll definitely see a Tyranitar EX, and I bet it's going to be so cool of a card. Let's talk about events. I think the next mass outbreak event is going to be this dark mass outbreak, because the next one that we're getting is Psychic. I think that we'll see by the time A2 comes out, I think we'll be seeing very shortly the dark mass outbreak event happening, where we can get these new cards like the Umbreon, like Murkrow. And then afterwards, I think based off of past events, we'll see like an emblem event, and we'll see a steel mass outbreak and a fighting mass outbreak. Also, I want to talk about the potential for a Lunar New Year event. And I think if you guys are into that or have looked at it or know anything about it, this coming Lunar New Year is the Wood Snake, the year of the Wood Snake, right? So what that could mean is it could mean a potential Dunsparce Lunar New Year event. I know what you're thinking, right? Dunsparce, really? No one really likes Dunsparce. He got that evolution in Scarlet and Violet, and it's like what is this? What is this Pokemon, right? But yeah, I think there will be a Lunar New Year event coming into the game that might be not talked about. It might end up rolling out with the new set so that there's immediately something to do. I think that's it for this video, guys. There's so much to talk about. There is so much to talk about, but I gotta keep it short and sweet. So this is what I believe we're gonna be seeing. If you liked it, let me know. If you think it's going to be something different and I'm completely out of my mind, then also let me know down in the comments below. Tell me what card you think is going to be an EX, what your favorite Johto Pokemon is. Thanks for watching, everyone. Till next time, Ronin out.